It seems fitting that there is a storm just about to hit me right when we get a base game update and also news about the upcoming Sims 4 kits. Now, jokes aside, if you do hear thunder or any other background noises, I do apologize because I obviously cannot control the weather. Unfortunately, mirroring the weather I am facing right now, we do have a lot of bug fixes, but it is not for the most serious bugs such as save file corruption, or also a lot of people are experiencing issues like weather indoors. A lot of them are focused on businesses and hobbies, which again is another argument for Sims 4 slowing down its DLC schedule. For the base game, when teenage Sims age up to young adults, they will get the option of a third trait. Sims will no longer become unresponsive and the game will no longer freeze in the save menu when multiple ghosts are in the household. Did not know that was a thing. Plants which are growing in the garden planter box, hand-fashioned planter box, or mounded in-ground garden patch and in-ground garden patch can be now watered. They also had to fix a certain young adult female dress that has a visible seam when paired with certain shoes for Mac when the game became unresponsive when traveling to the library or nightclub in Willow Creek. That's interesting. I myself have not experienced that, so I wonder what the cause is. Now, high school years. High school event tasks now will properly appear when sending multiple teens to school. After shaving to preferred length, arm hair will now update appropriately. Also, Sims can now compete at the chess fair puzzle. For life and death, Sims with certain reward traits can now go through rebirth without any errors. And gold rays will only appear for the occult picker in the Create a Sim UI the first time it is opened and viewed. Now gear up because this is the longest section, and now we have bug fixes for businesses and hobbies. Customers who are practicing tattooing will now focus on the task at hand rather than swapping practice partners back and forth. Small business employee is no longer a valid autonomous target for the practice tattooing customer role. Employee Sims working at multiple small businesses will now change to the correct uniform when they go to the second business. Sims who own their own small business will now change into the correct uniform when working as an employee at a household member's small business. The hire an employee goal of the running a small business quest will now complete. Fixed an issue that caused a missing icon to appear when selling a business. Circular sack geometry will no longer appear twisted when animating. Sims instructed to clean up will no longer attempt to wash their cotton candy or lollies in the sink. They updated a missing color swatch for the creator's counter, updated missing color swatches for the paintings in the Trashly art collection. The Ask to Mentor interaction now has the appropriate skill name listed in the pie menu. We also have unfinished pottery will no longer spoil. Cooked and baked food items will now show the for sale visual effect when placed on retail displays. Trashly will no longer leave cotton candy on the floor. Family recipes are now supporting the Simple Living Lot Challenge, which at first I did think was an oversight. The cost to create and prepare a family recipe is now accurate. Sims who have not checked into a small business can now use items in their own inventory. When checking in together with a group, the entry fee is now calculated correctly. And finally, they fixed an issue where the confirm button will be grayed out despite having an object selected. Randomly, for vampires, child Sims with vampire eyes will now stay instead of reverting to normal Sim eyes. And Secret Sanctuary addressed a pixelation that was occurring on the green variation of the dress. All in all, it does feel like a lot of fixes, but it's a lot of minor fixes, especially for businesses and hobbies. Don't get me wrong, any bug fixes are definitely welcome and I want them truly fixed. On the other hand, some issues continue to be very serious and they should not be openly advertising packs that do have those serious issues. Now, as far as these kits, it's really interesting we're getting 3 of them in a row. I personally have made my opinion about kits known before, but I can do a detailed discussion video about what I really think about what Sims 4 is doing right now, which I do have on my mind. That aside, let's look at these kits because honestly, this just raised some questions for me. For the kits, we have the Restoration Workshop, the Golden Years, and also the Kitchen Clutter kit. Honestly, I feel like we've gotten enough clutter kits. I know I'm not a builder, so maybe it's just not my thing. That aside, it's the Sims 4 Restoration Workshop that raises the most questions for me. Now, of course, course, there will be creator reviews, I'm sure, of these kits, but this is just a brief look. What I do like what I'm seeing here is it looks kind of realistic and grungy, where so many things, in my opinion, in Sims 4 feel very sleek and modern, and I know some people feel completely the opposite. That aside, I want to go over the description really quickly because I find it quite curious. The Sims 4 Restoration Workshop Kit, Sims can take well-loved, broken-down appliances, including reviving a microwave, coffee maker, refrigerator, and stove with the handiness skill, store the appliance to its former glory, and make it functional again. So it does seem like there's going to be some sort of gameplay elements here. They also mention Danny Kovacs, the game designer on the kit, recalls the clutter of the home garage workshops he's worked in. I find the combination of clutter and utility objects give the perfect creative atmosphere for Sims when pondering a next project. Now, what's so interesting about this is the garage idea fixer-upper. If you tuned into my last video, I was talking about Sims Free Play and how they do also have a garage update. Well, that was really interesting because my computer just went out and also I had some electricity go out, but we're back in business. So it says, want to create a space for your Sim to get down to business? We've got you covered. Build out your workshop for your handy Sim with modular shelves loaded with tools, woodworking benches that are coated in a thick layer of dust, even water heaters, and a functional floor fan. So again, there's a level of functionality here, and I do think that's a step up, at least from some other kits. However, the next kit we're going to is the Golden Years kit, and of course this is Elder's Fiend. Elder Sims can celebrate their long and interesting lives by dressing in styles that are made for their life stage. I will say, I don't know if there's specific clothing that's made for their life stage. Let me know what you think about that in the comments below. From walks in the garden to a light workout session at the gym, there are comfortable clothing options for every type of activity. Even more, Elder Sims can accessorize by having glasses with eyewear retainers, along with toupees, garden gloves, and more. Now looking at this, I'm not immediately excited. You can let me know what you think. That said, it is important to see the swatches and of course the content in game. Again, I would love to see even more activities for all ages. I don't mind getting more clothing. I'm just not super sold on this clothing in particular, and this is another picture of the clothing we can see here. Again, it does sound like there's going to be a variety in this kit. I'm just not super stoked about it. However, the final kit is the Kitchen Clutter Kit. Forgot your dishes on the drying rack, left an open cereal box on the counter, this kitchen is the hub of family life. Make yours look lived in with the Sims 4 Kitchen Clutter Kit with lunch boxes, a kitchen timer, a recipe tablet, and more. Now, I will say for builders and even just family gameplay, these do add some nice realistic touches. I'm personally never going to be super excited about clutter, but I will say it does look like it's fairly nicely done. It's hard to tell again without seeing all the items in game. A whole lot of living occurs in the kitchen, from a refrigerator with colorful magnets and creative drawings to the overflowing groceries, bottles of cleaning supplies, and strewn dish towels. Overall, I'm not going to ever be super excited about kits, so I always want to hear your comments below. I'm always interested for the people who actually buy kits or would buy kits. What are you looking for, and which of these, if any, are interesting to you? Of course, the most important thing about this is the bug fixes for the game. That said, I hope you enjoyed this video. Again, I do apologize for any interruptions, the thunder, the rain. I guess I can just say it is ambient noise in the background. Thanks so much for hanging in with me. Take care, and I'll see you in the next video.